We are going to begin our meeting this evening with presentations. We have three of them. The first one is P 26323, which is a resolution adjourning the June 13th, 2023 legislative meeting in fond memory of Alice M. Bailey. Will representatives from the Alice M. Bailey family please step forward? The presentation will be done by legislators Maloney, Loveridge, and Harrington.
Michael, your name's only in there once. Okay, welcome everybody, and especially welcome to Alice's family here. It's good to see everybody. This resolution is adjourning the June 13th, 2023 legislative meeting in fond memory of Alice M. Bailey. Whereas it is customary for this legislative body to pay honor and respect to persons who have had a great impact and influence on the citizens of this county during their time on this earth, it is with particularly deep sadness that we conclude this evening's deliberations in honor of Alice M. Bailey. And whereas, attendant to such duty and fully in accord with its long-standing tradition, it is the intent of this legislative body to express sincerest sorrow upon the death of Alice M. Bailey, which occurred on the 15th day of May of the year 2023. Whereas, respected and admired by all, it is the collective sense of this legislature that the life of Alice M. Bailey be memorialized and eulogized, and whereas Alice was born on December 1st, 1925, in Center Township, Wisconsin, to the late Roscoe J. and Susie B. Atkinson, and whereas Alice was raised on a large dairy farm and enjoyed raising and showing dairy cows. Alice was only 12 years old when she won the 1937 Wisconsin State Fair Grand Champion with her cow, Inca Ollie Peter G. Forbes. Alice would herd cattle with her precious horse, Lady. And whereas Alice was a member of the Greatest Generation, leaving home soon after high school to join the war effort. During that time, Alice was an airplane mechanic repairing damaged U.S. bombers at Ogden Field in Utah. And whereas from Ogden Field, Alice moved to Chicago's Hill Field, where she met the love of her life, Corporal Thomas Tucker Bailey, who was returning from duty in the South Pacific. And whereas Alice and Tom married on March 1st and started their 53-year adventure farming in Wisconsin before moving back to New York, where they lived in Postenkill and then Schaghticoke. And whereas Alice and Tom had 11 children, 33 grandchildren, and 56 great-grandchildren. And whereas Alice was a licensed insurance broker and helped building a thriving business in construction and real estate. She was extremely proud of being named one of the first woman-owned businesses in New York State. Alice was president and CEO of Kingsley Arms Incorporated. And whereas Alice was a trendsetter in the farm-to-table dining, she, along with her husband and family, grew and harvested the majority of their food. She canned, froze, and preserved everything from tomatoes to strawberries. Apple pies were her trademark, as her grandchildren, neighbors, and friends would attest. Alice's pies were second to none. And whereas Alice's greatest joy was her family. Alice was predeceased by her loving husband Thomas, her beloved son Edward, and his wife Barbara, and her treasured grandson Jonathan. Her legacy of being strong, uncompromising, generous, and wise will live on through her children, Thomas L. Jr. and Maureen, George, Richard and Janet, Harry and Joan, Robert and Diane, Mary and Jeffrey, Margaret and Timothy, Michael and Jerry, Alicia and William, Patricia and Harold, and her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Now therefore be it resolved that the members of the Rensselaer County Legislature adjourn this meeting in a moment of silent tribute in fond memory of Alice M. Bailey and extend our deepest sympathy to her family, fully confident that her contributions to this community will live on to serve as a legacy to all. And be it further resolved that the clerk of the legislature transmit a copy of this resolution suitably engrossed to the family of Alice M. Bailey. Thank you. Would anybody like to say anything? Michael? Come on. Say something.
I want to say something.
Well,
No,
first.
Alice, I've met her a couple of times. I mean, what a woman. Good, strong lady, too. And I want to say, for her service during World War II, thank you. I mean, it took people like that to help us guys. I wasn't in World War II, but I was in the service. I was stationed, we did Army aircraft field maintenance, and I understand the importance of what she did. Without those people, the Army wouldn't have moved, the military wouldn't have. Thank you.
When I was a young kid growing up, my father, Pat, was very good friends with Mrs. Bailey. And I remember as a kid growing up, he'd always bring me up to Mrs. Bailey's kitchen table and we sit there and talk for hours. So I just wanted to say that she's a tremendous lady and just a nice person.
I'd just like to thank all my colleagues for honoring my mother that way.
Did you say something?
Just fries.
I know there's a lot of okay, so.
Take them up, Dave.
We'll make more.
Make more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great woman. We'll run out of Bailey for a while.
Thank you.
What's that?
Yes, she is.
I gotta get that farm. Where you been lately?
Well, busy season.
I don't wanna hear work.
I know that you process.
We lost a lot of people during Vietnam. Violence that
Thank you very much.
Yes. Oh. Thank you very much. Remarkable person. Well deserving of recognition. The second presentation we have is resolution commending the Columbia Blue Devils baseball team upon championship season. I'm wondering if our county executive is here for that one. I see him in the back of the room. All right, okay. All right, so if there, are there any representatives from the Blue Devils? You can come on up. This presentation is going to be by Mr. Bailey, Mr. Grant, Mr. Fiacco. Steve, would you like to come up? All right.
Thank you guys for coming, appreciate it. It's a resolution commending the Columbia Blue Devils baseball team upon a championship season. Let me repeat that. This is a resolution commending the Columbia Blue Devils baseball team upon their championship season. Congratulations, it's wonderful work. Whereas it is consistent with the duty of this legislative body to recognize the contributions and achievements of the fine youth of Rensselaer County, particularly for scholastic and/or athletic abilities, and whereas sports activities teach discipline which can be beneficial in all areas of life. Through sports, students learn tactical, mental, and physical training. Students can focus better and have a clearer vision. These traits are essential for academic success. And whereas the Columbia Blue Devils baseball team is deserving of much praise and recognition, and whereas this year, the Columbia Blue Devils finished their season with an overall record of 20 wins and 6 losses and were crowned the New York State Class A champions. And whereas this year's highlights include defeating Albany Academy in 10 innings with a score of 5-3 to win the Section 2 Class A championship. The team then went on to defeat Walter Panis High School with a 5-1 victory at Binghamton University, where they claimed the state title, which is the first for the Columbia Blue Devils baseball team since 2004. They allowed only 3 runs throughout their entire state tournament run. And whereas the members of the Columbia Blue Devils baseball team are Jack Bennett, Kyle Blake, Ronan Kreshik, Naeem Greenberg Nielsen, Stephen Heller, Colin DeMarco, Andrew Gabriel, Johnny Del Grosso, Jake Tucker, Corin Lorilia, Cole Mellon, Nolan Romanowski, Jacob Scarless, Peyton Walters, Elias Conway, Max Armando, Caleb Welcome, Benjamin Dykent, Alden Scott, and Shane Baker. And whereas the Columbia Blue Devils baseball team flourished under the guidance of head coach Chris Dietrich, assistant coach Jeff Rose, assistant coach Tyler Rose, athletic director Ryan Jones. I want to give a little bit of a shout out to former athletic director Mike Leonard as well. He's asked me to mention his name to be associated with the team, so I wanted to make sure I got that in there. Just joking. Athletic director Sean Leggett and strength coach Tom Labardi. Now therefore be it resolved that the Rensselaer County Legislature does hereby commend and offer congratulations to the coaches, team members, family, and supporters of a team well deserving of praise and recognition. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution suitably engrossed be transmitted to the coaches and team members of the Columbia Blue Devils baseball team. Thank you so much.
You know Bobby Smith? No. Because, you know his dad, right? Yeah, that was his father, but anyways. Yeah, so I know you know Bobby Smith, right?
Yes.
He lives on
And then
I driveway every year.
Rob, you want to say?
Yeah, I don't know if you're my daughter, she was president of the school for a while.
Yeah.
Leon, you want to say anything? Thank you all very much.
Great achievement. Great performance. Great future. The last presentation is P 25823, which is a resolution commending Hudson Valley Community College on receiving 2 awards of excellence from the World Federation in Polytechnics. Will representative from Hudson Valley Community College please come forward? And the presentation will be done by Legislator Casal and Gendron.
You have a bunch of representatives.
No.
Why is he so short? You got that crank on
Is
it.
it crank? Where is it?
It's right here on mine, on the right side.
What do I do with it? Crank it?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm going down more. I gotta come up.
you gotta get
Ah,
off.
there we go. I came up.
Come up here. Come on,
I
guys.
came up. I came up.
Look at this.
I'm glad to see you up here.
Wow.
Very good, very good. Hey, Dan, don't you want President Ransamy up next to you?
If he wants to be,
Thank you.
your doctor. This is resolution commending Hudson Valley Community College on receiving 2 awards of excellence from the Board of Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics. Hudson Valley Community College has an established history of an institution welcoming international students, serving students from an average of more than 35 foreign countries who travel to Rensselaer County campus to pursue higher education. On July 12, 2022, this legislative body conveyed its compliments to President Roger A. Ramsamy, Ph.D., upon being elected to the World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics Board of Directors. President Ransamy is currently the only board member representing the United States, and Hudson Valley Community College, the only U.S. member of the WFCP's Global Member Network, which includes 22 countries. Sorry, Doctor. Under President Ransamy's leadership, Hudson Valley has undertaken numerous new global initiatives designed to help create educational opportunities for students from around the world in fulfillment of the college's ambitious strategic plan that focuses on 6 core pillars to guide future growth and priorities. Hudson Valley Community College received 2 prestigious awards of excellence at the organization's annual World Congress in Montreal on April 25, 2023. The WFCP Awards program recognizes outstanding contributions from member institutions and associations in advancing professional, technical education and training for the global economy. The college received the Bronze Award for Global Citizenship, would recognize the college's commitment to providing the exemplary strategic and tools to prepare students for global citizenships. Some of the college's recent initiatives that led to the nomination for this award include the Global Classroom High School Program, the relocation of the International Center of the Capital Region, and a local chapter of the 100 Black Men of Albany, New York Capital Region, Incorporated. Onto Hudson Valley's Troy on New York campus, humanitarian efforts in Costa Rica and the Philippines, and more. Hudson Valley also received the Civil Award for strategic leadership and recognizes the college's creation of a STEM high school and Veterans Resource and Outreach Center on campus, as well as building on the Center for Advanced Manufacturing Skills, and more. In 2021, the STEM High School hosted a campus in partnership with Questar 3 BOCES, opening the first New York State Pathway in Technology, P-TECH, and the Smart Scholar Early College High School hosted on a community college campus in the Capital Region. This prestigious international recognition showcases Hudson Valley Community College's stellar reputation on the global stage. And now for it be it, that the Rensselaer County Legislature pauses in its deliberations to acknowledge the outstanding accomplishments and notable achievements of Hudson Valley Community College, and then to be further, that the clerk of this legislature transmit a copy of the resolution suitably engrossed to the President Roger A. Ransamy, Ph.D., on behalf of Hudson Valley Community College. Resolution adopted June 13, 2023. So I'd just like to say congratulations to Hudson Valley Community College, Dr. Roger Ransamy, the whole crew's here, as you always are. And I just want to say I'm just proud and lucky to be a proud alumni of Hudson Valley Community College.
And first, thank you very much to all of you for honoring Hudson Valley. I hope that we are continuing to live up to the expectations of what you have invested in for so many years. This is the 70th year of the college, and we continue to fight against all odds. To the team that's standing here before you, this team this is the 24-hour team. No one here gets to sleep. And the idea is that every one of these members here work over time to make sure that the college can stand tall despite all the things that have happened. From 2010, the college saw 14,000 student enrollment decrease down to 8,000 students. And when I was brought on board, the idea was, how can we turn around a continuous decrease? And then COVID hit us, and we saw all other colleges went through sufferings of closing programs down and doing all the things that wasn't good. But the college went on the offense instead of the defense and began looking at other alternatives of what can we do so that we do not fall in line with the others. And this team here have begun working globally, outside of the state, and today we can boast that of all 30 colleges in the state, only 2 has positive enrollment: Hudson Valley and FIT, which is not even really a community college, but is amongst us. Thank you very much. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Hello, partner. Congratulations. Congratulations. Sir.
Thank you, everyone. Tell me.
Congratulations. Can't hug this guy.
Thank you very much. It's a great, great institution. On a personal note, I graduated from Hudson Valley and later on returned as an adjunct professor for 12 years. And I'll never forget the feeling of contributing to other young folks that are coming through and pursuing new careers and changing our community. Most of those students stay right here in the Capital District. Thank you very much for everything you do. All right, at this point, we are going to go into our public hearing. We have a public hearing to review the tentative budget on Hudson Valley Community College for the fiscal year beginning September 1, 2023, and ending August 31, 2024. At this point, I'd like to call the legislature to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Bailey. Mr. Cassell. Mr. Choquette. Ms. Doran. Mr. Fiacco. Mr. Fleming. Mr. Genrin. Mr. Grant. Mr. Grimm. Mr. Harrington. Mr. Leverage.
Here.
Mr. Maloney. Ms. Nichols. Mr. Patiri. Mr. Stahl. Ms. Weaver. Mr. Wysocki. Mr. Zaluski. Chairwoman Hoffman. There are 17 present and 2 absent.
Ken?
Well, he moves to resolve.
He moves it.
I move that the legislature resolve itself in the committee of the whole for the purpose of conducting a public hearing.
Hearing no objections, I hereby appoint legislator Dan Casal, Chair of the Legislative Committee on Education, to conduct this public hearing. Mr. Casal, please come forward.
Education Committee.
He is joined by legislator Gendron.
Yeah, it's the Education Committee.
And legislator Dorn.
Ooh. Seats a little low. Thank you. The clerk will read the notice of the public hearing into the affidavits on publication onto the record.
Please take notice that in accordance with Section 6304, Subdivision 5A of the Education Law of the State of New York, and Section 359 of the County Law of the State of New York, a public hearing will be held in the chambers of the Rensselaer County Legislature located at 99 Troy Road, East Greenbush, New York, on Tuesday, July 11, 2023, at 5:30 p.m. to review the tentative budget on Hudson Valley Community College for the fiscal year beginning September 1st, 2023, and ending August 31st, 2024. Copies of the tentative budget are on file in the office of the clerk of the legislature and available for public review during the office hours of 9 to 4, Monday through Friday.
Ready? The public hearing is to review the tentative budget of the Hudson Valley Community College for the fiscal year beginning September 1st, 2023, and ending August 31st, 2024, is now open. The rules of the chair are as follows. First, anyone wishing to speak at this public hearing must assign at the table at the entrance of the legislative chambers. When you're called upon to speak, please move quickly, but don't get hurt. To the microphone, and state your name, address for the record. Are there any questions? At this time, if there anyone wishing to speak on the proposed tentative budget of Hudson Valley Community College for the fiscal year beginning 2023 and ending August 31st, 2024. And I think we have one guest, and it's Dr. Roger Ransamy, PhD. Please step forward and don't get hurt.
Thank you very much. And again, for Hudson Valley Community College, our budget really is unchanged from last year, but for one thing. We have increased our tuition by $11 per credit, and that hopefully will sustain the college over another 3 years. This is going on the fourth year that we have not increased our budget, have not increased tuition. But with cost of living and all the different things that are happening around us, as you know, health insurances and so forth have doubled, and the college needed to make sure that it meets its budget. And by doing an $11 increase on its per credit hour, over the next 3 years, we expect to hold tight with this budget. So it really would be 7 years with one increase when you look at it at the end of the day. But that's the only change that we have made. Everything remains exactly the same.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone wishing to speak on this proposal? I'll ask it again. Is there anybody wishing to speak on this proposal? All right, your last chance. Don't rush up here. Nobody get hurt. All right, hearing none, inasmuch as all persons present were given the opportunity to speak on this proposal to review the tentative budget of Hudson Valley Community College for the fiscal year beginning September 1st, 2023, and ending August 31st, 2024, and no one else desires to speak, I declare this public hearing closed at 6:16 p.m. And thank you for coming and your participation. Have a good night.
Okay, we got one more. Okay, we have a second public hearing.
The attendance remains at 17-2. We can go into Mr. Harrington resolving it.
Okay.
I move that the legislature resolve itself into a committee of the whole for the purpose of conducting a public hearing.
Okay, hearing no objections, I hereby appoint legislator Tom Choquette, Chair of the Legislative Committee on Planning and Tourism, to conduct this public hearing. Mr. Choquette is joined by legislator Gendron.
Okay, thank you. Will the clerk will read the notice of public hearing and enter the affidavits of publication into the record?
Please take notice. Rensselaer County will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, July 11, 2023, at 5:45 in the Legislative Chambers, 99 Troy Road, East Greenbush, New York, for the purpose of hearing public comments on the Rensselaer County's community development needs and to discuss the possible submission of one or more community development block CDBG applications for the 2023 program year. The CDBG program is administered by the New York State Office of Community Renewal, OCR, and will make available to eligible local governments approximately $40 million for the 2023 program year for housing, economic development, public facilities, public infrastructure, and public activities for the principal purpose of benefiting low to moderate income persons. The hearing will provide further information about the CDBG program and will allow for the citizens' participation in the development of the proposed grant application and/or to provide technical assistance to develop alternative proposals. Comments on the CDBG program or proposed projects will be received at this time. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to 24 CFR 570.486 Subpart 1 and in compliance with the requirements of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. The location of the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. If special accommodations are needed for the persons with disabilities, those with hearing impairments or in need of lingual translation should contact Linda Vonderheide at 518-270-2921 at least 1 week in advance of the hearing date to allow for necessary arrangements. Written comments may be submitted to Linda Vonderheide at 333 Broadway, Suite 220, Troy, New York 12180. Linda's email address until July 11th, 2023.
Okay, the public hearing to discuss the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, applications for the 2023 program year is now open. The rules of the chair are as follows. First, anyone wishing to speak at this public hearing must sign in at the table at the entrance of the legislative chambers. When you are called upon to speak, please move quickly, safely to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Are there any questions at this time? Is there anyone wishing to speak? I believe Linda, you would like to come up? Linda Vonderheid.
Linda Bonderhead, Rensselaer County Economic Development and Planning, in 333 Broadway, Troy. One requirement of small cities funding applications is that a public hearing must be held by the legislative body prior to application, and one public hearing after programs are well underway for funded grants. The Community Development Block Grant is HUD funded through the New York State Housing Trust Fund. The 2023 deadline for housing grants is August 7th. The deadline for public infrastructure, public facilities, and community planning grants is July 28th, and is part of the state CFA process. Economic development grants are funded year-round. In 2023, approximately $10 million was set aside for housing and $20 million for public infrastructure, public facilities, and community planning. Counties can apply for up to $1 million in housing rehabilitation and standalone water and wastewater systems, and $1,250,000 for manufactured housing replacement. For public infrastructure and public facilities, the maximum grant amount is $1 million and $50,000 for community planning. Small cities funding cannot be spent in an entitlement community such as the city of Troy. Eligible activities include single-family housing rehabilitation, multifamily housing rehabilitation, standalone residential water and wastewater activities, including laterals, manufactured housing replacement, public infrastructure, including public or private source water development, storage, and distribution, sanitary sewage collection and treatment, flood control and stormwater drainage, and municipal utilities, public facilities, including structures for special needs, population, senior services, healthcare centers, child care centers, community centers, removal of architectural barriers for the disabled, sidewalks and street improvements. Community planning funds can be used for community needs assessment and preliminary engineering reports. Economic development funds can be used for economic development, small business, and micro enterprise. Economic development and small business funds are used to help for-profit businesses create or retain jobs for primarily low and moderate income people. All activities must meet national objectives under the CBDG program, which is usually met by ensuring that 51% of the beneficiaries are what is considered low or moderate income. Low income is considered those households with an income between 0 and 50% of area median, taking consideration of household size, and moderate are those with incomes between 50% and 80% of area median income. In Rensselaer County, a single-person household can earn up to $62,850 to qualify, and a family of 4 up to $89,750. We are preparing an application for the Rensselaer County Housing and Septic Rehabilitation Program that will build off our present Nassau Lake Septic Replacement Program to replace septic systems in the present waiting list, as well as repair housing issues found in the houses we are presently replacing septic systems in, as well as some housing rehabilitation throughout the county that could not be rehabbed under the ACH program that Rensselaer County Housing Resources is completing. We are expecting to replace 12 septic systems in the Nassau Lake neighborhood and rehab approximately 20 houses, of which 12 are scattered throughout the county. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this proposal? Second again, is there anyone wishing to speak on this proposal? Thirdly, is there anyone wishing to speak on this proposal? Hearing none, and as much as all persons present were given the opportunity to speak and discuss the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, applications for the 2023 program year, and no one else desires to speak, I declare this public hearing closed at 6:25 p.m. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you. All right, so we will now begin our regular meeting. I'd like to call the regular meeting to order at 6:26 PM. Call the roll.
We have no one signed up to speak, and the roll in attendance remains at 17-2.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Grant, invocation?
Lord, guide the people of this land and of all the nations in the ways of justice and peace, that we may honor one another and serve the common good. Amen.
Mr. Grimm, allegiance to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our agenda, presentation of petitions,
On file?
presentation of communications,
On file?
reports of commissions,
On file?
departmental reports,
On file?
reports of standing committees,
On file?
local laws.
We have one tonight. And we got Kenny.
Forgot it.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 13, 2023, and approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
Can I have a second? Mr. Maloney? Anybody else have anything? No? Okay, passes. All right, so we'll take a look at our local law.
A local law amending and extending local law number 3 of 2021 relative to 12 and 13-year-old licensed hunters, introduced by legislators Harrington, Casal, Maloney, Patiri, and Wysocki. This is a roll call vote. Mr. Bailey? Mr. Casal? Mr. Choquette? Mr. Fiacco?
Aye.
Mr. Genren?
Yes.
Mr. Grant?
Aye.
Mr. Harrington?
Aye.
Mr. Leverage?
Yes.
Mr. Maloney?
Aye.
Mr. Patiri? Mr. Stahl?
Aye.
Mr. Wysocki?
Yes.
Ms. Doran?
Aye.
Mr. Fleming?
No.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Ms. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. Zaluski?
No.
15 ayes, 2 noes.
It passes. G, 26423, resolution authorizing an agreement.
That's my part.
Sorry.
Resolution authorizing an agreement for computer-aided dispatch system support, Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, and Maloney.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. Sorry, I'm trying to take your job away from you. G, 26523.
G 26523, resolution accepting a grant from the New York State Zoo's Botanical Gardens and Aquarium Programs Natural Heritage Trust grant and amending the 2023 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget Unified Family Services Dyken Pond Center, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, Maloney, Harrington, and Casal, and Nichols.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Pass. G, 26623.
G 26623, resolution authorizing the purchase of consulting pharmacist services, Van Rensselaer Manor, introduced by legislators Grant, Leverage, and Weaver.
All in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 26723.
G 26723, resolution authorizing agreements with various school districts for substance abuse prevention, Department of Mental Health, introduced by legislators Grant, Leverage, and Weaver.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 26823.
G 26823, resolution authorizing an agreement for cellular telephone services for care coordinators and on-call staff, Department of Mental Health, introduced by legislators Grant, Leverage, and Weaver.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 26923.
G 26923, resolution authorizing the purchase of motor oil hydraulic oil and diesel exhaust fluid off New York State Contract Highway Department, introduced by legislators Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 270-23.
G 270-23, resolution authorizing the purchase of highway equipment, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 271-23.
G 271-23, resolution authorizing an agreement and amending the 2023 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget Mental Health, introduced by legislators Grant, Leverage, and Weaver.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 272-23.
G 272-23, resolution authorizing the purchase of supplies to support the county's Medical Reserve Corps Department of Health, introduced by legislators Stahl, Genron, and Nichols.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 273-23.
G 273-23, resolution authorizing utilization of the state contract for mobile broadband, Department of Mental Health, introduced by legislators Grant, Leverage, and Weaver.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 274-23.
G 274-23, resolution authorizing the Rensselaer County Executive to submit a Small Cities Community Development Block Grant application to the New York State Office of Homes and Community Renewal, and authorizing the Rensselaer County Executive to sign agreement and certify an officer if funded, Bureau of Economic Development and Planning, introduced by legislators Choquette, Genron, and Nichols.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 275-23.
G 275-23, resolution accepting funding from the New York State Department of Health for the Public Health Preparedness Grant and amending the 2023 Rensselaer County Adoptive Budget, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Stahl, Genron, and Nichols.
All in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 276-23.
G 276-23, resolution adopting a budget for Hudson Valley Community College for a period of September 1st, 2023 through August 31st, 2024, introduced by legislators Casal, Genron, and Doran.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. Congratulations. G, 277-23.
G 277-23, resolution approving memorandum of agreement with United Public Services Employee Union by adding certification pay to base salaries and corresponding Van Rensselaer Manor positions, Van Rensselaer Manor, introduced by Chairwoman Hoffman.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. P, 278-23.
P 278-23, resolution appointing a member to the Agriculture and Farmland Protection Board, introduced by legislators Harrington, Wysocki, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. P, 279-23.
P 279-23, resolution establishing a date for a public hearing on the recertification of Agricultural District Number 2 for Rensselaer County, introduced by legislators Harrington, Wysocki, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. P, 280-23.
P 280-23, resolution commending DEA Task Force Officer and Rensselaer County Sheriff's Officer Investigator Corey Film for his heroic actions, introduced by legislators Casal, Harrington, Maloney, and the entire legislative body.
All in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. P, 281-23.
P 281-23, resolution commending the Columbia Blue Devils baseball team upon a championship season, introduced by legislators Hoffman, Bailey, Fiaco, Grant, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. P, 282-23.
P 282-23, resolution commending Officer Tiffany Fisher, Officer Nicholas Cristino, Officer Bud Noblock, Officer John Fisher, Officer Ariana Brooks, Director of Campus Security Drew Renitz, Director of Nursing Jennifer Bliss, and Officer Tom Duffy for their heroic rescue efforts, introduced by legislators Hoffman, Bailey, Fiaco, Grant, and the entire legislative body.
All in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. P, 283-23.
P 283-23, resolution turning Rensselaer County teal in recognition of Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, introduced by legislators Grant and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. P, 284-23.
P 28423, resolution recognizing the month of August as National Water Quality Month, introduced by legislators Grimm, Dorn, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. P 28523.
P 28523, resolution urging the governor to veto the even-year election law, introduced by legislators Patiri, Wysocki, Hoffman, Loveridge, Bailey, Harrington, Casal, Choquette, Fiaco, Generin, Grant, Maloney, and Stoll.
All those in favor? Yes. Go ahead.
I'm going to vote against this resolution is to, you're encouraging the governor to veto the law that was passed by the state legislature to move our elections, or some elections, a large portion of the elections, from odd years to even years. I think the intent of the law is to increase turnout. And I know when we all ran, I can tell you, at least in Troy, in 2021, despite tremendous efforts to get voters to the polls, I know the League of Women Voters put out postcards with the Troy bot encouraging people to energize their vote. It didn't work, and people just, for some reason, they don't come out to vote in odd year elections, at least in the city of Troy. Whereas in even year elections, whenever it's a presidential election or a gubernatorial election, we see massive turnouts of voters. So the intent of the state legislature in changing this is to just increase voter participation by merging elections into the even years. I think another thing that contributes to this is voter apathy, and just folks get tired. It's like we're in a constant election cycle all the time. We've moved petitioning up to February and March. Primaries are now in June. You've got some presidential primaries next year that'll be throughout the year, and then of course the November election. You have a November election, have a few months off, and now you're in another election cycle if you're doing even, odd. It's like we're in a constant cycle of people running for office and asking voters to turn out all the time. And then we wonder why we don't have a good turnout. So I don't know if it's definitely the right answer, the even year elections, but certainly the even odd is not working in the odd years right now for us. So I'd like to give this a try. I'm not going to support, I don't want to ask the governor to do this. I'd like to see this go through. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
No.
All 5 of you.
I'm a yes. Sorry.
3.
3 opposed.
Yep.
Are you not? No, I'm.
14 ayes,
That's
3
four.
opposed.
Four noes. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
13 ayes, 4 opposed.
All right, passed. P 28623.
P 28623, resolution urging New York State to prevent the planned closure of the Burdette Birth Center at Samaritan Hospital by St. Peter's Health, introduced by legislators Stahl, Generin, Nichols, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Gendron, would you like to say something?
I would just like to say this would be a tremendous loss to our county, to lose this birth center. I know myself and my wife, we were both born in Samaritan. My daughter in 2019 with a tremendous experience there was born, and we have another expected one coming in December, and I would love to have that birth center still open for that reason as well. Not just personal, but for the residents of Troy. I think it's an asset to have that locally for the underserved communities. And also, it's just a fantastic place to go and have a child.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I will echo Legislator Gendron's comments. This birthing center is absolutely a critical service to residents not only in Troy but throughout the county. I know there's a petition that's been circulated. Last time I checked, it had over 7,000 signatures. I know we've got state legislators working on keeping it open, the mayor of Troy, I'm sure other elected officials. And finally, I just want to say it's wonderful that both caucuses submitted legislation for this and then came together, combined them, and we have something that I think we all agree on, a nice bipartisan effort. So, thank you to the majority, and I look forward to this passing. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. G, 28723.
G 28723, resolution authorizing a contract accepting a grant award from the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services and amending the 2023 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Public Defender, Conflict Defender, and Public Administrator, introduced by Chairwoman Hoffman.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
Passed. And that brings us to the end of our, yes, legislative privilege. Anyone? Ms. Doran?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was going to first, again, applaud both sides in coming together and working on the birth center. Legislator Zuliski beat me to that, which is perfectly fine. But I was going to kind of piggyback on that, and mention that the minority had a resolution that failed in rules this month dealing with the need for an animal shelter in this county, or at least a place for animals to go. And we would like to see, we're going to resubmit a resolution dealing with that topic. We've had a lot of feedback from members of the community who are very upset that the resolution didn't make it to the floor so everyone in this room could vote on it. I think I explained it 3 times to some prominent people in the county. We realize that our constituents right now in Troy have a place to go with the Mohawk Hudson, but who knows what the future is going to hold as numbers increase with the number of animals that need a place to go. They're lost, they're injured, they're left behind. I'm sure you all have heard stories in the county or actually experienced them yourselves. I feel like I have information about this topic. My brother, who's my age, has been a respected veterinarian in northern New York, owning a practice as a professor at Canton, and then pro bono work for the Humane Society up there. He's provided me with a lot of information. And we do have a responsibility for these helpless animals. I know that a member of this legislature says something about, well, children aren't asked to be born, and that's why we provide services for them. Well, animals aren't asked to be born either. And we need to provide services. And I could go on and talk about the health benefits of not doing that, because there are certainly health benefits to our communities. And we owe it to our community members to look at this issue seriously. And we asked for a bipartisan committee to do so and have some answers by the end of the year. So I'm just kind of giving a heads up, especially to folks who might be listening to this tape, that we had a resolution in and it didn't make it out of committee. So thank you.
Mr. Maloney? Hold on, before we adjourn, I just wanted to respond. I think everyone in this room cares about animals. I've been in several dialogue with both the majority and the minority, and we seem to agree on that we have to examine the situation and do something. In the last meeting, the reason it didn't move on was because the majority asked for a little bit of time, because we're doing research right now and gathering statistics and facts about where humane societies have been established and where shelters have been established to determine the cost factors that are involved and the stakeholders that are involved with successful action as opposed to moving forward without a plan. So we are aware of the situation. We are moving on it, and I just want everyone here to know that it's not that we have blinders on. We're looking to be responsible and do what we have been elected to do, and that's pay attention to the finances and all of the other factors that are going to influence this decision as we go forward. So I applaud everyone for their concern. We all have a concern. It's just a matter of how we're moving forward. Yes.
resolution that was not allowed out of date for the entire legislature to vote on, asked for a bipartisan committee to do what you say you're doing in the majority. So both sides are involved in this process and are aware of what's going on, which is very important. Because we answer to people also, and I don't think you want the answer to be, well, I know Chairman Hoffman said we were gonna have a committee and some people had volunteered, but she really didn't say that. I want to be straightforward, transparent. And I'm sure members in the majority would like the same too. So a bipartisan committee is what was asked for in the resolution that didn't make it out of committee.
I understand. There's a time and place for a bipartisan committee to be involved as well. Mr. Maloney?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Second? Kenny, you want to say something?
I'd just like to say one thing. You know, animal control is really a town responsibility. If you don't know that, you know, every town in the city have their own animal control people. I mean, if you're gonna start working on animal control and all of this, I mean, first thing you gotta really, as far as I'm concerned, you really have to coordinate with the towns. I mean, you need to go to the towns. I mean, we're not the people here to decide what each town is. We're gonna put something together for the towns. I mean, it's a town responsibility. If you wanna call a meeting of all the town supervisors and the town councils or whatever you wanna do, start to work with the towns. Right today, it's their responsibility. They all have animal control officers, as well as the city. That's where you wanna start, not here. I mean, not a committee of us. Committee of those people.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyone else? Motion? Can I get a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, you're doing good, Leo.
It's on record. That's all I care about, right? That's all I care about.